And we are starting with a new season of Jersey Shore. We're doing the fourth season. So that starts with episode 2 because episode 1 was like a special episode. So we are going to jump in with that. So I'm not sure how many episodes I'm doing yet, but we will get to that. So we are on episode 2, like mentioned, which is technically the first episode of the season. We are going to Italia. And guys, look, Bernard is here, aka Gianni. Johnny and Snooki are now together and will be together for the rest of the time. Um, we start hearing the rumblings from Mike about the situation with Snooki. We'll get into that a little later. Um, but we hear about units, and I'm just like, I mean, for, I need to see if there's an update on this guy too, which won't be coming until the end of the next season. But this fucking guy, I hated him even then. Um, but anyway, we'll actually physically meet him. Actually, no, I think we physically meet him in this season, but it's just like the very beginning. Anyways, this is where we start to hear that Mike is saying, I'd hit that with Stooks and whatever. Like he knows that she's in a relationship with someone else, but he doesn't. I mean, it's not a surprise. Most men usually don't give a fuck. But anyways, we have single Ron again and single Sammy because they are not together after the situation with the third season. We'll see how that goes, although we know how that goes. The guys and girls are going to be doing like a slumber party separately. I think the girls were at Dina's and the guys were at Finney's. And then they're going to be doing a race to Italy. They're going to be in Florence. So they're going to see who gets there first and who gets the best rooms. So we're on the way, and the boys have a layover in Madrid, and the girls have a layover in Germany. So far, it's looking like the guys are doing a little bit better because they're actually in Spain, not just in Europe and in Spain, whereas the girls are in Germany. I don't know much about geography, but I feel like what the guys clearly are doing, having a layover in Madrid, obviously is a lot better. No, sorry, I'm talking in Italy. Madrid's in Spain. I'm fine. See what I mean? No, not about geography. Anyways, the girls end up landing in Milan, not in Florence. They need to be in Florence. The guys actually do land in Florence. So at this point, the girls have to run to a bus. And this is where we see Dee fall, like, on the way. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't even know what happened. She just fell on her face. Usually we don't know exactly what happens with Dina when she falls. That's the one thing I miss about Dina now. She became a mom and she became a little more coordinated. Anyways, the ladies end up encountering horrific traffic when they're trying to get into Florence. They say it's supposed to be, I think they said 45 minutes to an hour bus ride from Milan to Florence, but it ends up being like 3.5 hours. So they clearly are not going to make it. The guys make it there first. So they get to the house. I have to say, this house is probably one of the best houses ever in the season, besides the original OG Shore house. Don't get me wrong. But it's a really nice place. And the guys say like this house is great. They even have a bidet, which is typical for Europe. You have bidets. It's fine. Dina, we kind of are hearing in this season that she seems to be really crushing hard on Polly. More on that in a little bit. the girls are there now. All is fine in the world. We kind of see somewhat, I think it was Dina, fries her blow dryer because, outlets are a little different in Europe than they are in the States. And I think it's at one point, might have been Sammy actually, but I think it's at one point. So either it was Sammy with the blow dryer and Dina with the curling iron, or it was vice versa. But I think it's Dina with the curling iron. She like burns a piece of her hair off. But I don't know, could that be the difference in wattage, or is the curling iron is, you know, not doing what it's supposed to be doing? So yeah, Sammy's having a little bit of a mini mentee B because of the whole situation with the blow dryer. What is she supposed to do? Um, then there's a moment of Ron breaking a chair. I don't particularly remember this. But I do remember a chair being broken and it being Ron's fault. But I don't remember the whole situation anyway. The roomies are exploring Florence, of course. And Mike is like, Snooki isn't single. Idiot, you must have known. You knew because I swear while he was talking to Unit or whoever it was he was talking to, he mentions like, I don't care if she has a boyfriend. Like, whatever. So now he's acting stupid, like he doesn't know she's in a relationship. He's like, I don't think she will be single out here. Or not single, or I think she will be single, sorry, while she's out here. The thing that's you know what? We never get explanation about this. I think we probably never will, because I think it would still ruin friendships. But I really want an explanation. I'll put my 2 cents in what I think about this whole situation once it kind of we get to that point where it's being discussed, and it will be discussed soon. But I've always been under this impression of, well, where did this come from? I think on one hand, like, it could have happened, but I think on the other hand, even if it did, where is this coming from? Because yes, we see them make out very briefly in the first season, but he literally is like, that's like my sister. Like he couldn't really fully go there. Now all of a sudden, this all over Snooki, and the things he says about her, even if true, it's sick. Like, you shouldn't be talking about anyone in the way he does. It's demeaning, it's degrading, but we'll get to it. So he's like, well, I know things that you don't know. Okay. He knows things. So more on that later. Polly is waking everyone up in the only way that Polly knows how. And this time though it's with a grenade horn. Um, which will be used a little later. So only Snooki and Polly know how to drive stick. So because they're the only two people who actually know how to drive stick, they're literally everyone is relying on Polly and Snooki. They have two different cars. They're relying on them to be able to get anywhere. So they're literally like, well, it's really gonna suck, especially with Snook, because I think like Polly can rise to the occasion. Snooki's literally sleeping until 3 p.m. every day, you know what I mean? But despite the fact that Snooki knows how to drive stick, she is struggling. Maybe it has to do with just everything else. And I think they're trying to go to the gym or find the gym. And the girls end up losing the boys because they don't know the GPS is in Italian. The only person who knows any bit of Italian is Vinny. And they lose them. And they also can't read the map. So they end up having to go back to the house because they don't know what to do. Anyways, we see them getting attacked later on by pigeons. Um, and yeah, Dina's not about it. And you know what? I wouldn't be about it either. But I mean, yeah, the pigeons um in Italy are feisty. Anyways, so this is where Dina burns her hair off with the curling iron. Mike tells Ron, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to somebody. I need to get this off my chest. So he pulls Ron aside. There's kind of like this outside area that's separate from the rest of the house. So he goes and he talks to Ron there and he says, "Now something happened between me and Snooky." And Ron's like, "What do you mean?" So here's what he has to say. He says, "Me and Snooks hooked up." He says it happened a few different times, actually. He says, this was a few months ago while they were in Los Angeles, probably some sort of press tour or press situation. And he says, "I think I have feelings for her." The fuck you do. Mike then didn't have feelings for anybody. Mike then was more about, "I'll mess around with you," and that's that. The only meaningful anything, if you want to call it meaningful, or consistency in his life at the time was Paula. Paula's the only person who keeps coming back. So I don't I think he loves Snooky as a sister, but I don't think he's like falling in love with her, and because that's the other thing too, and it just pisses me off. Is he just he says things like, "Oh well, she's lost some weight. She's looking good now." So it takes her to get healthy, lose weight. You know, she is looking great. She looks beautiful. Whatever, but it takes that for you to notice her. It takes for being in a relationship that she's actually fulfilled and she is in love. Let's face it, guys. I knew this is probably it for her. She's probably marrying this guy. That's exactly what happened. It took that for you to notice her. And I'm sorry, but if you can't take me at any point in my life and you don't get to take me when I'm up, it's just like the Seth Rogen effect, where, he's maybe not the most attractive guy, but he's nice because he's funny. And then he literally has the best glow up I think I've ever seen. And my God, he looks amazing. But he literally says, "You can't, if you can't love me at my quote unquote worst, then you don't get me at my quote unquote best." And that's basically what Mike is doing. And it's sick. Mike then. Mike now wouldn't do that, but Mike then. So, yeah. So Ron is like, There's no way in fucking hell. Like, no, no, no." Um, but Mike tells Ron, like, "Don't say anything." Yeah, right. Because again, this is the same person who has had to deal with Mike meddling in his relationship. You think that Ron isn't gonna say shit? Ron was the last person to speak to. Polly was probably better, maybe Vinny. But I think even Vinny at some point would have told Snooky because of their dynamic. Polly probably would have told Vinny, and so it's gonna get to her. No matter who you're talking to, it's gonna get to them. And I don't, but Ron for sure was the last person who's gonna take your secret to the grave. Anyways, taxi sono qui, taxi sono qui, sono qui, sono qui. The cabs are here in Italian. Taxi sono qui. So we're in the club now. It's the first night out. Vinny has to be the translator for the guys because, again, most of the people here obviously are Italian. They speak Italian. They don't speak English. Vinny's the only person who, again, like I mentioned, has any uh, abilities here to speak Italian and understand Italian. So he's the translator. Um, Mike is being a little creepy towards Snooki at one point. He's all over her and getting in her face and, whatever. It's just like, it's creepy. And again, even, listen, we've all had our thing, we've all done our thing. But even if I have had sex with somebody, I don't want you up in my space like that. Get the fuck off, because just because we've done a thing or two a couple of times doesn't mean you get to be all up in my business, all up in my face, make me uncomfortable. You don't get to do that. You're allotted the privilege during 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on you. And that's it. Like, you don't then get to invade my space. Dina, while that's happening, ends up asking Polly for a kiss. And my God, he actually kisses her. And honestly, it was one of the weirdest kisses. Like, Polly kissing Jenny was hot. Polly kissing Dina, like, it was interesting. Like, I'm about it because I want Dina to get hers. And I think Polly's one of the best guys in the house. But because Polly's one of the best guys in the house, he's just not going to go there with her. And I think maybe that's why it was awkward. But it was awkward. Anyways, that's episode 2, technically.